Hey everybody, it's Whiskey with Whiskey's Gaming Lounge. We are on Factorio Let's Play number 10. In the last episode, we pushed through all new iron ore production, and boy did we need it. Something fierce. We also went and blew some stuff up, which was kind of fun. But we are starting to run into some other issues. Our copper production is slowing down, and while it's not a huge deal right now, it's going to become a massive problem in the not too distant future. And one of the things that I'd like to do in this episode is now that we've gotten iron production fixed for a while, we are going to go ahead and expand copper, and then we are going to hopefully start on our production of electronic circuits, whether that's green, red, or blue circuits. And this is going to be an entirely devoted section to just those, the production of those items, because we're going to need them in order to launch a rocket. And yeah, so let's do this. What do we need to research? Well, we need to research everything. We'll do the substation because we'll use those for the train rails. We need those. Oh, we also aren't producing any more petroleum oil because we are full up on light oil. Well, let's go ahead and get our copper production taken care of, since that will be very straightforward and easy. All we need to do is reroute our stone around the bend and add in all of these splitters. Nope, we're gonna have to go on the bottom side. Okay. I was just looking to see if there's any room to run these up along the top, but there isn't because the coal line's in the way, and frankly, I'm not in the mood to move the whole coal line either. That is one thing that we are going to need to address here, and that's part of the reason why this episode I want to get circuits figured out, because we're going to need circuits for some of our train stuff. We're going to need it certainly for everything else, and circuits are kind of important. And if we don't get, we won't get to trains in this episode. I know that for a fact. It might take us all 30 minutes for us to get just the layout for circuits. And we're probably going to need to do a whole bunch for our oil as well to fix the lack of production of stuff. But that can be a whole different episode. I'm about to get real lazy with this and just start shooting trees. Boy, that ain't any faster. It is once we start getting armor-piercing rounds that production done, but, well, that and depleted uranium stuff when we get to actually getting around to the uranium power mod. I don't see on this map any of the resources necessary to do so, so who knows where that's all at. I'm sure it's off cleverly hiding. Alright, let's go ahead and lay down the track here. That really is the lazy way to take out trees, but we don't have a huge need for wood. That's one of the things that's actually really disappointing about this game, is that there's really not a huge need for wood after a while. Yes. And then it just becomes more of an annoyance than anything. And really it shouldn't be, because when you think about it, it's not that in terms of resources that it's not useful, it's just that once you get to the late game, everything is powered by something else entirely. So, yeah. We don't need all that track. We don't need that power pole. Alright. Keep on working this guy up here. Go ahead and turn that guy. Turn the one before it. Oh, I don't think that's going to work out terribly well. Well, let's clear off this entire belt before we start taking belt out. That's going to fill my inventory up with a lot of stone. That could be good. Right now, not so much. Just going to take up inventory space. Really not that much, but more than I thought it was. That'll actually come in handy once we start getting to the train stuff, because the rails require a whole bunch of stone in order to produce. Some of this we can go ahead and leave. We'll just take it all out. We don't need to leave it all. And the writing is on the wall for this copper production area. It's quite evident that it will not be around for too much longer. Which is really kind of sad, but what do you do? Oops. Dear loading screen, stop messing me up. That was so rude. It was so rude, he doesn't even know how rude it was. Get this guy. Oop, wrong way. Now to join this all together, we're going to make ourselves a 4. I think we'll be able to get everything pretty much in 4. 4 to 2 set up, and in order to do that we need a bunch more of the splitters, which will actually be used as combiners, which is totally contradictory to their name. In the words of King Leonidas, this is madness. This is madness. Madness. This is Sparta! Power these guys up. Now that should hopefully saturate that belt long enough for us to finish it off. This really isn't the best way to do this. If I was smart about this, I would have put in another splitter elsewhere to keep these guys rolling, but once these guys cease working, I will start routing them through there instead, and that should hopefully help out a lot with that. This should also help balance out our copper load, although it's not really failing through this. I'm more worried about how it's going to react once we start adding the additional load of the circuit factories. And with those, we are going to need a boatload of assembly machines, so we might as well get working on those while we finish up copper. Yeah, that's not really... That'll work. And these these last 4 I'm just going to dump onto the belt above it because they aren't going to produce enough to really oversaturate this any. And most of those are going to end up running out really fast. Alright, those are producing walls. Eventually we're going to need to produce a bunch of... Ooh. We're going to need to produce a lot of things. We'll go there. It's going to be a lot of things. How many of these? Go ahead and dump those in there for now. Alright. So, our production of circuits is going to be a very interesting production setup. I need iron and copper. Looks like the copper line's starting to fill up. Now that these are being continuously used, that will help out tremendously. So these ones are going to produce wire, and then this guy is going to produce green circuit. We are going to need a boatload of everything. I think that's right. This guy will get to there. These ones are wrong. There we go. Yes. Alright, so this will be a copper line that we will feed off from up there. We are going to need an iron line, which is going to feed from up in here. Oop. That's not what I wanted to do. Oop, that's not right. Apparently I can't think. Okay. This will be an iron line, like I said, it'll come in from there. Then we've got inserters galore that we are going to need. We are also going to need some chests. And the rest can all be transport belts. One other thing that we're going to need to do is we're also going to need to start production of red and blue belts. Maybe, just maybe, we can get to that in this Let's Play. I'm not going to hold my breath too much for it. We got a lot going on already. Most of which is me going by memory. Okay, so how this is going to work, we need inserters here, we need 3 inserters there. These are going to run out, apparently. As with all resources, apparently, I'm not able to keep them all well stocked. While that's doing that, I'm going to run up here and hijack a whole bunch of belts. And these regular inserters won't be too detrimental. We can use them to produce more of the fast inserters once we have the appropriate amounts of iron and copper. I'm not going to put them into anything yet, though. I'm not going to use them. That's not a good idea. Okay, and then these two feed those. Okay, so we need copper and iron. That is one side. This gets flipped to do the other side. And if I remember correctly, that's the correct distance. If it's not, it'll be a pain, but we'll redo everything then. And this will actually, the way this setup works is really quite nifty. When it's done correctly, it will produce green circuits en masse all the way into the red circuits en masse, into blue circuits en masse. And there are some distinct advantages to doing it this way. It just simplifies everything. Green. Get these guys in there. And this is going to produce a stupid amount of green circuit for this, which is just yeah. In fact, let's get one side running fully. So we need a split off of our iron line to run this. Steel production will be important, but we can always push off from that. Okay. Space isn't a huge constraint with this setup. It's actually pretty space efficient. So this may look a bit ridiculous, but reality is a good sight different. And we need a split off in copper. And this will go to this side over here. And I'm not worried about getting these truncated. They will get appropriately addressed easily enough. Okay, so that's produced it. It's tossed over that. We need iron. And to do this, we need a bunch of underground belt. This will all eventually have to be upgraded to fast transport belts. I'm just doing this like this right now for ease. I'm also noticing that if we don't do something with our we are going to run out of storage room, and it's already stopped production of petroleum gas, and as you can see, it's falling very rapidly. That's unacceptable. This is going to condense down into one. There will be a splitter here, which will take this and balance it, for lack of a better phrase. Let's see. actually, this, it wasn't necessary to balance that way. Or was it? I don't... Oh, yes, yes, yes. I remember how this works now. This gets put into a 2 to 4 balancer. And without the splitters, it's kind of hard to visualize. So we'll get those guys rolling. We need our underground belts to hook up this and our iron line. And then we are going to get producing some green circuits like they are going out of style. Doom, doom, doom. Should probably get our rocketry stuff rolling. God, that requires a lot of science. As you can see, it produces it really quickly. There we go. Okay, so that's going to balance those guys out. See, this is what I was talking about. I just don't know that there's enough copper throughput with this current setup. We're going to probably end up having to expand to steel furnaces in order to supply this, because as you can see, copper is becoming the biggest fault with this setup. And I'm sure once we start powering all of this over here, it will only get worse. But nothing could possibly get worse. Nothing! Except everything. Everything gets worse. Oh, yeah, need to finish these. And we need a bunch of those. Alright, green is done. Now red is a little bit more complicated, and the reason red is more complicated is quite simple. Red requires petroleum. Petroleum requires oil. All of that is useless if we don't get our copper throughput to skyrocket. Holy buckets. We need a bunch more of our steel furnaces, at a minimum. At a minimum. Don't think we need 47 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we do need 40. Boy. You can see how quickly this produces them. In fact, we're starting to get build up in our chests here, and that'll actually come in handy. If I was smart, I would have just picked them all up, but well, that requires thinking, and I'll be honest, I wasn't thinking. So let's go ahead and get that started. We're gonna need a lot more of those. This middle one will be, this middle red, this middle belt here will actually be the output belt for the red circuits. Man, we're already coming up on 25 minutes in this, and we've only gotten the green circuits done, and we've come to the conclusion that we are running out of copper. That should not be a surprise at all. I have a feeling eventually this will all get turned into an even more ridiculous setup where I have to push these out further in order to produce enough copper throughput to actually make a difference. But that's stuff that we can all address at another time. We're not worried about that at this point. We are just going to go ahead and upgrade our copper furnaces. Nope, those regular inserters for some odd reason are still able to keep up with those, so that's a good sign. Sure would be nice if they built quicker. Boom, ba-doom. You know, it's interesting, we're almost through most of the tech tree. There's really not a whole lot of the tech tree remaining. It would be nice to be able to get rid of all of our power stuff and move on to uranium, but I have a feeling that's a long ways off. We actually have to go find the resources for that. I did actually do a mod spotlight for the uranium power mod that I need to get uploaded to YouTube here. I will probably do that tomorrow night as soon as I finish editing of it. And that will be a good mod highlight, and I think you guys will really enjoy that mod. It's a fun mod to add to the game. It adds a whole another level of complexity to power generation, and it does so in a way that isn't game breaking. So that's a tremendous amount of fun. Okay, I think we've got a huge stack. We sure do. We can toss those guys in there too. Don't need all of them. Expand these guys out because we're going to need the space. There it goes. Yes, produce me more. We're running low on petroleum gas. That's kind of annoying. Yeah. You can see the problem we're running into, and I should have known this going in. The issue is as much our belt transportation setup as it is anything. In fact, I am going to hijack those, and I'm going to see if I can't come to a solution to that problem somewhere where it's convenient. So to produce yellow belt, we need iron and iron gears, which means we need another assembly machine. Don't think I've got any spare. Well, we could hijack for right now. Oh, this is gonna make people cringe. It's okay. It's okay for you all to be angry at me for doing this. It is perfectly acceptable. We want red belt, so we're going to go ahead and leave a gap. Oh, I forgot we got gears, then red belt, then our blue belt. So this will be gears. This is yellow. Oop. Yellow, red, blue. to there. But we need gears. Do 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 do. Oh. I don't know why I'm removing this right away. That's fine. Since gear production is actually going to take priority, we're going to move gears down that line and iron down the far line and use long-handled inserters to deal with it. Do we need iron for that? No. We need gears to go all the way down. The only reason I move that over is so I can use two long-handled inserters to pull iron in off that line. This doesn't require any iron, does it? Nope. We're going to cancel those for right now. Now we're going to start building them again. That way I can get the production line rolling. There we go. We need a chest in the middle that we are going to dump all of that to. And for right now, this is what we're going to use. And we're rolling. Alright, well, we didn't quite get as far as I was hoping to get. Ran into a pretty obvious problem where we need to step up all of our belts down here. Should have known anytime we upgrade your furnaces from the basic stone furnace to the steel furnace, it also requires a corresponding increase in belt speed to keep the belt saturated. It also requires it to keep the belts moving so that everything that they are producing is coming out correctly. Should have known that. Totally spaced it, totally forgot it. That also holds true with the electric furnaces. Will also need lots of express transport belts, which are the blue transport belts. But we will continue this on in the next episode of the Let's Play. This is Factorio Let's Play number 10 on Whiskey's Gaming Lounge. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.